Thank you so much for joining me. Today's beginner Tai Chi class warm-ups. We're going to do some Qigong. We're going to do waist, but we're going to do that in a chair or standing today. And then we're really going to hone in on grasping the bird's tail and just repeat practice, finding our own flow so that we can continue with our at-home practice. Feet, shoulders width apart to start. Most important aspect of our Tai Chi practice, 5 minutes a day, even if that is the 2 minutes while brushing your teeth, working on your alignment. Knees in line. Check in that they don't turn towards center. Perfectly straight. Tuck your tailbone just a little bit, not for everyone, but we want to think about having our hips nice and level, and then we're just going to turn from the upper body. The goal is to just let the arms swing and feel that the movement is led from the waist. So everything in our Tai Chi practice moves from the legs, through the waist and spine, and then out to the arms, hands, and fingers. And this is the first way that we feel this. This is also a great Qigong exercise, a way to open up that energy through the body. So make sure to let your shoulders hang down, heads lifting up, and just looking from side to side as you swing the arms. Now we can tap the belly or the lower back, whatever feels good. All right, let's do like a couple more rounds, just both sides. And then we'll slowly ease off. So that means we slow down from the torso, which automatically slows down the arms. And then we come back to center. Okay, let's go to the shoulders. Remember, a lot of Tai Chi comes from our shoulders as well, so rolling them together. You could alternate them or do those big arm circles. The goal here is to just find that movement, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Maybe opening up through the chest a little bit. Play around with which variation works best for you. This is great for really opening through that chest and slowing it down a little bit. Do a couple more rounds. And then when we go forward now, we're going to pull the shoulder blades apart. So we think about opening up through the back and separating the shoulder blades. You can do that alternating, one at a time. Not so much here, more about just shoulder rotation through the arms, but all great options. So much of our practice relies on our arm rotation, so we're really going to take that extra second to warm up here. Let's do one or two more going this way, and then we're going to go back. So squeeze them together, and then throw them down. Let them find neutral. From here, working on those hips, hands on the hips, arms free swinging, nice circle and around. Remember, the slower you move, the more release you can get through the hips and maybe that lower back area. So find the pace that works best for you. Let's go the other direction. All great things to do every day. Maybe could also be considered your 5 minutes a day if you're there. All right, let's come back to center. Feet together, knees together, bending down, and just little circles. Warming up through all the joints. Other direction. And then release. Coming back up, shake everything out. Take that second, come back to shoulders width apart. So that means the outside edge of your feet matches the outside edge of your shoulders, and they're perfectly straight. Find the center of your footwork. Remember, if we have our weight in our heels, typically our legs are locked. If they're too far on the toes, we're super bendy. Tai Chi, bent but not bent, straight but not straight. Can you find that position? All right, fingertips to the side, little piece of fruit under the arms. And we're going to start with like water's wave. Great Qigong exercise. We're going to rotate those palms. Inhale, lifting up, shoulder height. Exhale, upper arms go down, forearms, and then the palms. Down in front of the hips. So inhale, we stand up. Stay there. I'm going to turn. Exhale, bending down to whatever position is comfortable. So we stand up and we're fully standing at shoulder height, and then we float back down. Finding that wave of movement. Your goal is to be light through the upper body and strong and heavy through the legs. That's how we gain our balance in Tai Chi. We feel the footwork. So as you sink down, where's the weight on your feet? Can you feel that connection? Can you find the lightness through the upper body? So important to our practice, right here, right now, building the foundation for the rest of our session, connecting the whole body. Let's do a couple more rounds, just finding your own flow. Remember, shoulders are relaxed, gentle movements. Okay, we'll do one more. It's full movement here. We sink down, and then we just stand up and return to our original position. So arms come to the side, fingertips brush the sides of your thigh, and you just stand up slightly. Remember, when we reach our final position, being aware that the arms aren't closed, letting energy flow freely. Eventually, this will feel a little bit more natural. The next one, looking up at the moon, we're going to work on rotating our whole arm. So from here, rotate that whole arm, palms face the sky, arms overhead. Most importantly, shoulders down. They don't have to be here. Relax, bend at the elbows, fingertips point together, and then press down to the hips. Now fingertips point down, rotate the whole arm. Inhale, you can even look up. Exhale, bend into your knees, sink down, hands go to the hips again. Find your own flow. Inhale up, exhale down. So the reason Tai Chi always looks so nice is because everything arrives together. This is your opportunity to really focus on that. So when you're fully standing, are your arms overhead? And do you stop sinking when the hands are at the hips? A little bit of coordination. Those big arm circles and smaller leg movements. Depending on the strength and how far you want to push yourself, if you sink down a little bit more, feeling that weight centered in your feet, you're going to build a little bit more muscle. Feeling those legs burn a little bit more. So a couple more rounds. All right, this one, we're going to do a half circle on our last one. So that we come into the first one. Keep those palms facing down. Standing up, bring the arms to shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Then we do the first one. Upper arms, forearms, and palms sink down. And then we return to that original position. All right, probably already feeling a little bit of energy, right? Okay. Into our waist and spine section. Now I'm going to show you first in a chair, but then I'm going to stand up. Remember, we're building on our practice here. So grabbing our chair if you'd like. I'm going to first show you here. Okay. When we sit in our chair, this is what we've been working on. We sit on the edge of our chair so that our feet are nice and stable on the ground, and then we have a nice straight spine. we have our arms in what we call is that hug a tree position or hugging position. This means the biggest arms you can make, and then remember, shoulders and elbows drop down. From here, if we would like to remain seated, we're going to imagine we're in our own little square and we're turning from side to side. And this is all we're going to do today. We're just going to focus on our turning. And your goal here is to not push too far. So maybe it's only 10, 15 degrees instead of turning 45, okay? If you would like to bring this into your bow stance practice, I'm going to first show you that we can do this standing in our parallel stance. So just as we were seated, we would bring our arms up and then we would turn. Now this should almost feel similar to what? That first warm-up we did. Only this time we're controlling the movement. So what should we watch out for? Don't turn everything so that we're going all the way to the side. Remember, this is about our spine. Our hips are staying neutral and we're turning from corner to corner. Now that's feeling pretty good, right? So this is the first step to getting that movement in our body and into our bow stance. We want to be able to have a nice flexible spine, letting energy flow freely throughout our body, helping to heal and to feel our best. Now, as you're here, check in on your footwork. You can always sink down a little bit. Keep those knees in line as you turn. It's going to feel different than a seated position because your legs are going to start feeling this. Okay, now let's come back to center and do the same thing as we would do in a chair. Throw the arms down, release that tension. Now you can stay seated in a chair, but I do want to show you today what it looks like in a bow stance. So this is a lot of what we're doing in grasping the bird's tail. We're using this turning of our waist to help coordinate our arms. So first thing we do is we want to get into a very nice bow stance. We use the lines on our floor, or just imagine with our footwork. I'm going to mirror you. You're going to shift to your right and open up your left toes. Sink down and you're going to step out naturally. Before we get going at all, we're going to work on our bow stance just a little bit. So turn on your heel of your left foot. Do you still have very clearly two lines? Now turn it back. The next thing, can you pick up? If you step too far, you're going to drag it back, and I want you to step a lot smaller. The only requirement that is standard for everyone is that we're on two lines. The length of your stance this way does not matter. It's all going to be different based on the strength of your legs. Now, as you practice Tai Chi, your bow stance is going to change. And that's perfectly normal. Meeting the requirements of two lines, shoulder width apart, and keep those knees in alignment as we move forward and back throughout grasping the bird's tail. This is going to be one of the most important things. Don't turn the hips, keep them open, and just shift forward and back. Think about pushing both directions like a spring. So we're not going to go up and down. We're going to move back and forth. Okay, now I want you to move forward and hold in the forward position. Remember, if your legs start feeling this, just come back a little bit. Again, the length does not matter. We just want to make sure we have the width from side to side. We're going to bring our arms up. Now again, you could be doing this in a chair, or you could be doing it in that parallel stance. From here, I want you to see, we can keep our torso in line with our hips, open, or we can go to straight. Now be aware we don't want to go past straight. We only want our torso to be square. not past. So we're going to do one side and then the other. And this is simply finding that movement without doing what? Moving our hips. So even though our torso is turning, how do we have our knees and our hips in line so that we're healing our bodies? So that we're just turning from the torso and finding that strength through the legs. Now, how do we coordinate this turning of our torso with the forward and back of the legs? Okay, if you go to square, we're going to shift our weight back and we're going to turn at the same time. Then we're going to shift our weight forward and we're going to turn back to straight. And we're just going to keep moving back and forth. Okay, back and forth. So I want you to kind of slow down those legs so that we can think, okay, are we to square when the weight's all the way forward? Remember, the knee does not go over the ankle, so the weight should still feel centered in both of your feet, just as if we were standing there with our feet parallel. Let's do a couple more. Really starting to coordinate everything we've been working on. Our bow stance, our waist exercises, everything together. Okay, let's do one more, moving back and then forward. Okay, throw the arms down, release them. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. We can't leave out one side and then the other, right? But you should be feeling a little bit more confident in what we're going to be working on now. So feet shoulders width apart. Remember, stepping on two lines. The length does not matter, so shift to your left. We turn on our right heel 45 degrees. Remember, everything you are in your own little square box. When you sink down, what's the most important thing? Knee in line. Don't do this. Knee in line. So if you start sinking and your knee starts going in, ease up. And then step out. Heel, ball of foot, toes. Okay. Move forward. Now check. If you turned on that right heel, do you still have two lines? Sometimes when we step out, we might cross. Open back up. Now, can you shift? Can you pick up? This is the balance part of Tai Chi. It's this very slow footwork. And it's not about pushing ourselves to move quickly and be like, oh, look, it's huge. No. Natural, okay? Move forward and back. Find your movement. Keep the knees in line. So that means not turning the hips. We're going to keep them open and we're just going to find what? Push and support. So that means even though this is still a bow stance and I'm still moving forward and back, what's the difference of using kind of spring action of pushing back and then pushing forward? So finding how you can intentionally use the muscles in your legs, building strength by moving slowly. This is where all of our balance comes from. Nice slow movements. Okay, ready for the waist? Let's move forward. Think hips are going to stay open. Torso is going to match the hips. Remember, relax the shoulders and elbows down. And then we turn from our waist. So it's that turning without turning our hips that brings that spine movement from the chair through the parallel stance into our bow stance. This is how we link it all together so that next when we work into our movements of grasping the bird's tail, that we combine without sacrificing alignment. Remember, alignment is key to healing our body. Okay, next stage, are you ready? Moving up to square. As you shift back, we're going to turn to the corner. Now, one thing to check when you turn this way, Did your front leg turn in? Or do we have what we call, and might make you laugh, crotch rounded enough? That means both knees are open, weight centered on both feet. And then we move forward and we turn. Same thing. Knees didn't turn in. They're nice and rounded. Okay, shifting back. Find your own flow. Try to keep it a little bit slower so that when you're forward, everything's straight in the upper body, and then everything is turned to the corner in the back position. And we're just finding that strength in our legs. And let me ask you this. How much energy are you using in the upper body? We want it to be just enough. So just enough to keep the arms up, but not enough to create tension. Now your head can look and follow the torso direction, or you can keep the head looking straight, completely up to you. Let's do a couple more rounds, back and forth. Now you might notice the legs are starting to feel a little bit of that burning sensation. Remember, that's the change happening right now. That's your body reaching new limits. That's a good thing. Okay, coming back and forward one more time. Okay, throw them down. From here, we're just going to take a moment, just as the beginning of class, let the arms swing. So make sure those feet are parallel. And from here, just let it go. Release any tension you might be feeling. You can even let those hips swing a little bit from side to side if that feels good right now. And just let it go. Let those shoulders hang. Nice deep breaths. All right. Easing off. Next, we're going to work on arms. So we're going to work on grasping the bird's tail. We did a lot with our legs just now. We're going to give them a little break. Remember, this is our beginning Tai Chi class. So the first 30 minutes are spent truly on basics, and then about the last 15-ish, we always work on a movement so that we can combine everything we've been working on together. So we repeat a lot, but then we learn a lot at the end too. Starting with ward off right. This is where we're going to begin. I'm going to mirror you. Now, it's not going to look as pretty. We're all going to be learning together, okay? Left hand goes on top. Right arm's going to bend underneath, okay? Now, if we separate the movements, the right arm's the easiest. It's just going to hinge up and down. It's not changing very much. It's just moving up and down. Biggest point here, keeping the wrist in line. Don't let it kind of bend, okay? Nice and straight, letting energy flow, and we're just up and down. Now, Tai Chi is never just one thing moving and one staying static. That left palm is going to push down, push down. Now, it doesn't look like much right now, but when we put them together, this is where the magic happens. So, one up, one down, hinging, passing over that forearm into ward off right. Big thing, check, elbows relaxed. And then perfect amount of space, nice and close to that forearm, okay? Reverse it. We're going to do this a few times. Up and down, okay? True Tai Chi magic, one going up, one going down, one moving left, one moving right. Okay? Do one more. Okay. Last one, reach out and then go down. Okay. Now, can you keep the connection between your arms? We're going to keep them right here. Right arm is in this ward off position, left palm pushing. We're going to turn them. So you're going to turn both arms so that that left palm is going to face the sky and that right hand is going to sit. Perfect. Now from here, you're just going to turn your body and the arms are going to go to the other corner. Beautiful. Now, we're going to turn that left palm over And we're going to bring that right arm back into ward off, but this time we're going to touch. Now for press, we're just going to go out a little bit. That's it. Now, keep both palms facing down. Open them up, square up those arms just like water's wave. Then we're going to come back, sit up the palms, and then we're going to push. And that's grasping the bird's tail. Okay, we're going to do that a lot. Now remember, I'm mirroring you. Okay, so when we would practice, we would face the same direction, be it one side or the other. Left hand overhead, right arms underneath. Nice and slow. Remember, slow helps us. Up and down. Try to relax through the upper body. Ward off right. Keep the same space. Rotate both arms so that the left palm is to the sky and the right hand sits up. Fingers point up a little bit. Then turn your body just a little bit so the arms go to the other side. Now, bending that elbow, turn the left palm over and bring the palm to the forearm. Then up and out for press. Notice here, palm is diagonal. Big thing is not up and down, not to the side. 45 degrees is our magic number. Now, both palms face down. Come back over the ball. Sit up the palms, remember not too low, chest level, and then push to shoulder height. Yes, let's do it again. This time I want you to notice a little bit of what we were doing with our bow stance. We're going to turn from where? Our torso, okay? So you can see just a little bit of my legs. What I'm going to tell you is where are my feet? Parallel. We want this to become normal, okay? So even though you can't see them, they're perfectly straight. Left arm's reaching out, right arm's underneath. Now I'm not straight, slightly open, just a little bit turned. And then we go up and down. Okay, now we're going to turn our torso to straight as we rotate both of the arms. Now what you'll notice is if we're in our own little box, this right palm is to the corner and our torso is to straight. And now everything's going to turn and go to the corner. So the arms move a little bit faster. Now relax your waist a little bit and touch the palm to the forearm. Then expand out. Now square everything up. Arms go flat, torso straight. Then we come back, sit up those palms, check, little bit of gaps under the arms, and then push. Check here, not too high is the big thing, relax. So if I turn, one line, okay? Ready? Let's do it again. This is great practice, okay? Release the arms, shake them out, okay? The hard thing is about when we start doing Tai Chi, 45 minutes of holding the arms up in the air when we start these sessions, okay? In the beginning, you're building a lot of shoulder muscle. Take the extra time to shake out between any of the movements. Left arm extended, right arm underneath. Remember, torso's open that little bit. Up and down go together. Okay. Turn. Rotate both arms. Shift back and turn to the other corner is what we would be doing. Then we would touch our palm and then we would move into our bow stance as we press. Then we turn everything to straight. Come back over that ball and then everything arrives together for push. Feeling better? Sometimes mirroring does help. Let's do it a couple more times. Hand over head. Right arm underneath. Mirroring is very new to me in grasping the bird's tail. So here we go. Up and down, go together. Check. Relax. Turned a little bit. Now, rotate. Notice how the space stayed the same between your arms. Then keep them and just go down a little bit. Now touch palm to forearm. Then we expand out. So it's a little up movement. Then arms go flat. Come back. Sit them up. And then push. Okay, one more time. Left arm, right arm's underneath. Remember, with this right arm, it's close but not too close. And it's about 90 degrees and just kind of hanging out here. Okay. Up and down. Rotate for roll back. Turn to complete your roll back movement. Then touch. So that right arm is close in again and we're just touching this time. Then we go up. Square. Come back. Keep those armpits open. And then push. Okay, now you can keep doing just the arms, but I'd like to put it together with the legs. So I'm gonna step back a little bit more. Again, I'm gonna mirror you. This is not how we do it in all classes. If we're doing a forms practice together, again, we would be going from side to side. For this time, I'm gonna mirror you. We're gonna start parallel stance. You're gonna shift the weight to the right so that you can turn and open the left toes. And you're gonna sink down. And then you're gonna step out and you're gonna move forward. The first thing you're gonna do is shift your weight back and see, is this a natural bow stance for me? And then step back to where you were or a little bit shorter. Now remember, what are we gonna be doing? It's as simple as shifting forward and back with a little bit of waist turning, okay? Again, the option is there. Stay where you are. You can do this in that parallel stance still if you're new. We're going to start in the back position. Left hand's overhead, right arm's underneath. As you do the arms, you're going to slowly move forward. Then we're going to just turn. Now, turn and shift your weight back. Perfect. Now, touch the forearm. And then, expand out, moving forward. Okay, flatten the arms. Come back and sit up the palms as you shift back. This is the easy one. Push. Everything goes together. So see, now we're combining waist movements that we did from the beginning, the bow stance we did from the beginning, and the arms we were just working on. So let's do it a few times. Again, you can always just do arms or legs or any combination thereof. Left arm's overhead, right arm's underneath. Again, I'm mirroring you. Up and down, weight moving forward, ward off right. Roll back. Just turn from your waist and rotate the arms. Now, waist turn, weight shifting back, arms go down just a little bit. Okay, touch palm to forearm first, just turning your waist. Then everything moves forward together. From here, waist turning, flattens and squares up the arms. Then everything goes back together as we sit up the palms. Then everything moves forward. Okay, you ready? One more time. Shift back. If your legs are starting to burn, remember, that is the best thing you can experience because it means you're using your legs in new ways. I want to remind you of that, okay? Right arm underneath, left arm overhead, ward off right. Moving forward, up and down goes together. Okay, keep the connection. Rotate. Shift back and turn. Go down a little bit. Now palm to forearm and then press. Moving forward. Last one, push. Square everything up. Come back. Sit up the palms and then push. Nice. Okay, great work. That is not easy. Remember, practice is going to be your best friend 5 minutes a day. If you just did grasping the bird's tail 5 times, nice and slowly, check and done, okay? So I want to encourage you over the next week to see what you can get through with practicing. Okay, maybe it's the first movement, maybe it's just push. Do push 10 times, get everything coordinated together. Then you are truly doing Tai Chi. A little bit goes a long way, all right? Keep the smiles coming. Keep playing Tai Chi. It was so nice to have you here. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day.